but in the shadows, the whole world's controlled by the same force, and it's that which is able to understand the way the human computer works, the way the human mind works, the way the human emotions work. At that hidden shadow level, that center of the web level, they know that this is all an illusion, that this is a holographic illusion that only exists in our head, and that therefore they can manipulate what we think, our emotional state, and how we see the world and ourselves, because they understand how the computer works. It's basically like if you get a new personal computer, you stick it on the desk. You don't know anything about computers. What do? You know, you turn it on. You might find the on switch and flick it about a bit, and you might find this and open this and what's this, and it's all very limited. And then a computer programmer walks in, who knows absolutely how that computer works, and he can do anything on it. That analogy sums up the human plight, in the sense that this is a holographic biological computer, and the vast majority of people in the world have no idea it's even a computer, never mind how it really works and where their thoughts and emotions are coming from and how they're manifesting reality. But the spider in the center of the web does. And it has structured society, it has structured communication, it has constructed the information that we're receiving in the computer, which we're downloading, to impose upon us a completely false reality that allows us to be computer-like sheep rather than the infinite genius we really are, if we could only break out of this computerized control that's been imposed upon us. So the spider is not operating with the same level of knowledge that we are, not least because, although this knowledge existed in the far ancient world, the spider has manipulated events so that that knowledge has been sucked out of mainstream society and held only by the few that pass it on through the highest, and I mean highest, levels of the secret society network. And so making people aware of this knowledge of the nature of reality, the nature of who we are, is fundamental to setting people free of the control that they're being subjected to. Because, you know, we can work on the level of banking scams, political scams, manipulated wars, manipulated 9/11s, and we should, because we need to know that. But if that's all we're doing in terms of communicating knowledge, then basically we're operating in a cycle of this is the problem, but how the hell do we get out of this? We will never know how to set ourselves free until we understand the nature of who we bloody well are. How do you set yourself free when you don't even know you are? How do you set yourself free when you don't even know the nature of reality that you're living in and manifesting and making happen without your knowledge that you're making it happen? You can't. So alongside the information about, the 5 sense level of this conspiracy, if you like, we have to just as powerfully, I would say more powerfully, communicate the nature of reality and how we are creating our reality and how we are allowing it to be created for us by having ourselves programmed with certain beliefs, certain perceptions, and all the rest of it all the time. The two must go together. Otherwise, we're never going to get out of this. And so it's a big task to get the stuff out. But because you're not telling people anything they don't already know. If I tell you that's a computer and you are infinite consciousness, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. I'm telling you what you've forgotten. Because what happens is you come into this world and with this knowledge suppressed, it's like someone once said, You imagine you come into the world and someone tells you that 2 equals 5. Your parents tell you that from the earliest age, 2 and 2 equals 5. You then go to kindergarten and nice teachers tell you that 2 and 2 equals 5. You then go to school and teachers at junior school, senior school, they tell you 2 and 2 equals 5. By now, all your mates who've been through the same system, they're telling you 2 and 2 equals 5, and if you say it equals 4, they laugh at you. You then go to university, and professors with letters after the name, moustaches, they say 2 and 2 equals 5, you know. Oh, no, it equals 4. No, I've been doing this 50 years. I've met all the best brains in the world. It equals 5. That boy will not go far. And then you turn the telly on, and someone's going, good evening, 2 and 2 equals 5. Now the weather, right? There's a good chance that you'll go through the whole of your life believing 2 and 2 equals 5, but it still equals 4. And what this information about the nature of reality is doing, basically it's saying, do you remember 2 and 2, 4? Oh, yes! And this is why this has such an impact on people. When they hear it, something goes, this is true. This is true, because they're remembering it. We are in a world in which the vast majority of the population is in an amnesic state. They are in a hypnotic trance because they have been implanted with false information about themselves and the world ever since they arrived.
Было все на белом свете, люди издавна повторяются. Было, есть и снова будет так.
Будет так, будет так, будет так, будет так. Было, есть и снова будет так.
Будет так.
Будет так.
Будет так.
Будет так.
Sat around a table and you said, right, what we need to do is we need to find some way of getting young people to see the world the way we want them to see it, so that by the time they become adults, they are completely following the reality we want them to believe in. Someone might say, well, they might not have it like, but you know the ideal thing? What we do is we have a system where we take children away from their parents at least 5 days a week, all day, from about the age of 4 and 5, and we have control of their minds until they're about 17, 18. That would be ideal. Well, of course, that's what happens. It's called the education system.
Yes.
And it's indoctrination.
Мы пионеры, юные ленинцы. По-ленински жить и трудиться – наша большая мечта. Ребята, гордимся нашим солнечным краем. Городами, полями разными, и при слове отчизну мы всегда. Yes, we can, yes, we can, yes, we can, yes, we can, live each other, yes, we can, live each other, yes, we can, live each other, yes, we can, live each other,
The whole system, because we have two hemispheres of the brain. The left brain, which is about words and this world reality and, you know, the perception of this reality. We have the right brain, which is where you get creativity, inspiration, and connection, and then you've got this corpus callosum, which connects the two. First of all, we use a fraction of our brains. Why is that? And the other thing is that what the system does is it turns out left brain prisoners. They run the system. And it does it by putting information through schools and colleges and universities into the left brain, which it then says at time of an exam
give me all that back, and if you tell me what I've told you well enough to believe, then you'll pass the exam and you'll be very successful. Anyone that takes that information into the right brain and puts their spin on it, or questions it, or sees through it, and puts that in the exam, they are perceived as a disruptive influence in the classroom.